right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? It's Monday, and I'm back. I'm so happy to be here. I had a great weekend. Hung out with my wife all weekend. We did well. You saw us. Some of you probably saw us on Saturday at the our Saturday trail stop stream. I think that's going to become a regular thing. In fact, next Saturday, we're going to be selling Mother's Day with my mother-in-law on the trail stop stream. That's going to be interesting. I love my mother-in-law. She's fantastic. And she's going to be joining us for our weekly trip for weekend breakfast at our favorite watering hole. So look forward to that. And, everything else is up in the air. But anyway, a whole bunch of stuff today. I got another stupid letter from YouTube. And we'll talk about that briefly, but I'm not going to beat that dead horse. Well, it's not a dead horse. I'm still, I still want my stuff. I still want my information that I believe they owe me. If someone accuses you of something, you should know exactly what they were accusing you of. And then you might have the opportunity to take some legal action against them. Not saying I'm necessarily going to do that, but boy, I certainly could. Anyway, so we'll talk about that. I got some of the morning news and some news from the weekend and a couple articles that I really like and a couple TikTok videos that we're going to watch that I think are fantastic. You know what I mean? Which seems weird, right? But hey, there's this new based TikTok star that I'm really excited about. And I just started, I watched a few of her videos over the weekend. But anyway, we'll talk about that after the intro. Johnny, play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the PDawgKnight channel on this lovely May 3rd, 2021. My sister's birthday. May she rest in peace. My sister that I grew up with, her birthday was this day, and she had some complications from stuff in the hospital a few years ago and unfortunately passed away, but always try to remember her on this day. I hope you all are having a good day, and I hope you had a good weekend. I definitely did. As I said, we made our normal little trail stop on Saturday, and then we made another trail stop on Sunday. Saturday, our son joined us, and some of you were here, met him virtually, and then Sunday, we just went up there for a little while, and then I had some yard work to do and had to get some papers ready for a little legal thing that's going on in our family. Nothing bad. More, it's our legal. We're the plaintiffs. We're not the defendants. But anyway, not a big deal though. And but and then as my garden, boy, some of the flowers that opened up, I took some more video. Going to change up my my outro. Change up my outro, just updating the garden outro. And then also, I might even use some of that footage for my new standby video, which is coming soon too. So look forward to some new visuals on the PDawgKnight channel. Anyway, so let's say good morning to everybody before we get it started. Then we will get it started because I got a whole bunch of stuff. And looks like there's about 20 some people in here right now. Hopefully that'll grow. First in the chat today was Richo. Who gets the bell? And it's the right. Oh, wait, is this the right Richo? Yes, it is the right Richo. I always got to check now because there are imposters. Richo, you get the bell, sir. Good morning. And also good morning, Thomas Cleaver. Sup? My friends down under are all over this, man. Awesome. And also good morning, Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Ronan. And Maddie. Oh, well, I gave that one to both of you right next to each other, which is not unusual. I bet you're right next to each other quite often. Anyway, also good morning, Jonathan Peterson, Mr. Yes, Richard see, it comes off as one word, so I always mess it up. Richard of Orifices. Easy for me to say. Good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also, good morning, Random American. I can't. Okay, I'm just getting silly now. Good morning, TMI, or TMR is hanging out. Hunting down some coffee sounds like a good idea. Hi, everyone. Yep, and in fact, I do have my cup of reparations coffee right there in the Resist Fascism cup. I think everyone should have one. PDawgKnight.live merch tab. And let's see, who else is here? Let's see. James PFP's in the house. Nice to see you. Also, good morning too. As I scroll. Ryan Walters, what's up, my man? Nice to see you. Ost Sands in the house. And is that everybody? Oh no, I see what happened here. Atheist Icon. To my Rosie is back. Nice to see you. Rosie, is this the same Rosie from before? Are you coming back to me, or is this a different Rosie? I'm not really sure. I guess we'll find out when you answer that question. Also, good morning. I said Atheist Icon. Hello, Patrice Ripley, the official PDawgKnight Channel K-pop aficionado. Also, good morning to... Oh, that's it. That's all. Oh, I'm sorry, a few of you are looking. I didn't say 25 names. Attack Alpaca's in the house. Good to see you. I'm glad you're here. All right, let's get it on. So, I didn't even open this. So I got another. So YouTube loves them some damn boilerplate answers to things. And I am getting, okay, first, this one, now one of these pissed me off. Okay, so y'all know that I got temporarily yeeted from YouTube, right? Not yeeted, just my ability to do live streams, which is what I use YouTube for. It's the only thing I use it for. I sure I upload a video now and then, but it's like, come on. Wait a minute, what happened here? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, I occasionally upload videos, but my bread and butter is this show, The Morning Night Live, and streaming on weekends and doing, things here and there. And so when you take away my ability to live stream, that is a punishment to me and hinders my groove greatly. And so when I get a false DMCA strike on my channel that makes it so I cannot live stream, it's very important to me. And so I want to get down to the business of what exactly happened, and I'm not getting the answers. I not even the opportunity to get answers from Rosie. Is there more than one Rosie? Well, I was thinking Irish. There was someone named who called themselves Irish Rose who hasn't been around in a while. So I don't know. Sometimes people change their names. So I don't know if Rose and Rosie are the same person. But no, I was just curious. If you're Spambot22, hello to YouTube, by the way. Wait, what? Good morning. Oh, mods chat never. Okay. So anyway, I was just curious if you were the Rose that used to come around and hasn't been around for a while, but that's okay. I'm glad you're here because you're new, and I like when new people come around. All right, let me finish what I want to say in here because I don't want to spend a lot of time on the YouTube thing. So last you heard, the takedown got reversed, and because the person, I'm not going to call him a gentleman, the person who I contacted who did the takedown, said, oh yeah, well, normally these just come down after 10 to 14 days, but I will retract that. And because it doesn't look like something we're going to pursue. And I'm like, pursue what, you moron? You pursuing something that you did wrong. If you would have pursued it, you'd have lost in court and you'd look like an asshole. That's a little early to swear in my stream. But anyway, hello, Renee Mayette. So anyway, so I wrote to YouTube a little email. Oh, I need to... What the fuck? What did I do there? That was stupid. Hang on. So I wrote this little email to YouTube, and you can't see the whole thing, but that's okay. To it may concern, I am writing to request a full copy of the original DMCA copyright strike request that was recently made and retracted on the following video. And I put the video that was that says it was streamed 51 years ago because, yes, I am Methuselah. And I concluded, despite the fact that this has been retracted and my channel has been restored, I never received a notice of the original DMCA claim. I believe I'm entitled to a full copy of this claim made against me, which caused YouTube to limit the function of my channel for several days. It will also help me determine whether I have cause for legal action against the claimant for making such an obviously false claim. You may forward the requested information to this email. Sincerely me, right? Okay, so YouTube copyright emails me back. Hello, thanks for your message. It appears your issue has already been resolved. Really, motherfucker? You think this issue's been resolved? Hello, Jaeger Pony and Tony A. You think this issue has been resolved? Let's just say, no, it really hasn't. So I wrote them back. I said, hello, this issue has not been resolved completely. I'm asking for a copy of the original claim against me, which I am entitled to, whether or not the issue has been resolved according to YouTube. I will likely be taking legal action against the claimant for an unknowingly false copyright claim under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act based on my recent correspondence from him and the language in the original claim. This particular claimant has likely made numerous false claims against many channels, and it is time for some accountability. Please provide me with a complete copy of the original claim. And then I also sent a message on Twitter to Team YouTube. Now, many of you probably saw this over the weekend. I'm sure many of you did, but I'm just gonna play it so you know what I'm talking about here. So I made this video, and it's only 60 seconds long, so you don't mind me playing it, I hope, because I'm going to.
Hello, Team YouTube. I have a question. See, recently,
Yes.
I got a DMCA copyright strike on my channel,
I did.
which was provably false.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was made on content that had not been made yet.
Mm-hmm.
It was a future live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the claimant did eventually retract the strike.
Okay, let me stop for a second. Watch, I'll probably get a copyright claim on my own video. Here's note how calm I am. I pretty much made this video almost immediately after I did the after I read that email. Let me finish this up here.
But I'm wondering, why is it when someone makes a strike?
Yes, unique. And then in the, well, I'll tell you in a second. Yes, it does say unique. There you can see it even better. It is unique.
On your channel, I, the creator, cannot get a copy of the copyright claim. I have no idea what they wrote. But when I do a counterclaim, you send them all of my information. Can you help a brother out?
Note, I'm beginning to racialize this. This is known as foreshadowing.
I need a copy of the original claim. Thank you.
So I put that video out, and when I said I still haven't gotten an answer from your boilerplate responses to this question. Is my situation really that unique? Yeah, I know, unique. Okay, and then I put down here, or even unique. LOL, fat fingers. So in about, how long did it take to get an answer for that? It took a long time to get an answer for that. And of course, when I say I still haven't got an answer from your boilerplate responses, of course they send me a boilerplate response. Thank you for reaching out. If this is about the claim on your video, note that if you think that it was done in error, you have an option of filing a dispute. We also look into misuse for copyright deals up to terminating abusive users. Oh, isn't that perfect? I get a boilerplate response to something that I don't want a boilerplate response to. I know they have millions of people asking them stuff all the time, but still. I just found it ironic. More boilerplate nonsense that doesn't address my request. Who'd have thunk it? Probably sent by someone who has no idea what boilerplate means. So that's my YouTube update. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. Now, on the brighter side of life, did anyone else show up, by the way? Let's see. Jonas Pedersen, how you doing? FTW Nil, what's up? And I'm pretty much caught up, I think. All right, let's move on. I said Spambot 22, but I kind of said it fast. So I'm going to say hi to Spambot 22 again. How you doing? All right, let's move on. So my favorite article of the day I caught this morning, or was it late last night? Anyway, Curtis Scoon is a guy you should follow. I like his stuff. He's, I think, SCOON TV on the, let me see, make sure I got this right. I want to make sure you get the right one. On Twitter. Now, you may or may not like what he does, but I do. So I'm gonna recommend him highly. And let's see, he goes by, yes, SCOON TV, at SCOON TV on Twitter. And he described himself as your place for unfiltered conversations, business, politics, social issues. Join the movement. And he's a very interesting fellow, and he wrote a great article on my favorite topic, or not my favorite topic, well, one of my favorite topics, the grievance grifters, trademark, that I like to talk about. And so I thought I'd show you this, and I highly recommend checking out his website and some of the articles he writes. He's really good. Anyway, on activism, control to opposition, and Black Lives Matter. And I don't know that I could have wrote an article that better highlights my feelings about the whole thing that he's about to talk about here. And so we're going to go through it and enjoy it, because that's all I can do. And again, I don't agree with everything that anybody says, but I do like this article. So anyway, good morning, Hig. How you doing? Say hi to Cindy for me. I'm sure she's there in the background. Good to see you both. During the home stretch of President Obama's 2012 re-election campaign, there was a shift in public discourse. Yes, there was. Oh boy, there was. That impacted the presidential race. On February 26th of the same year, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, who you only saw pictures of his 13-year-old self, had a fatal encounter with Neighborhood Watch coordinator George Zimmerman, the white Hispanic. I'm sorry, I'm adding a few words here. I don't even need to add words. He covers it very well, so I'm going to stop adding words to his words. In Sanford, Florida, Martin was visiting his father from Miami Gardens, Florida, where he attended high school and lived with his mom. He was notoriously accosted and slain by Zimmerman, who identifies as Hispanic but was labeled white.
You're fucking a white male!
By the media. Zimmerman claimed self-defense. The black community called it a lynching. Black women in particular became more vocal and confrontational across social media platforms. They referred to themselves as social justice warriors and grew into an intersectional movement of activists. Now, I bet you didn't realize that that's where the phrase came from. That it actually came from a phrase that someone called themselves, and it turned into, by 2016 or so, it turned into kind of a, obviously some people used it in a derogatory manner or a kind of a mocking manner, but whatever. We all know about the SJWs, right? Anyway, this mobilization helped define the political discourse, with race becoming a defining issue in our nation since then. Thus, hashtag activism was born. Oh, everybody's favorite. Good morning, Chicago Mike. Racism and police brutality was thrust front and center of a presidential election involving America's first black president. All too aware of the power of social media due to the role it played in his historic 2008 election, President Obama lent his voice to the cause by proclaiming, quote, "If I had a son, he'd look just like Trayvon." Everyone remembers that. Like summoned imps, neo-civil rights leaders manifested online seemingly out of nowhere to monetize the despair and the trauma of the black community. Does this sound familiar to y'all? Black male tragedy had become political and social currency for a litany of opportunists. There was DeRay McKesson, an openly black gay man, and with an apparent endorsement deal from Patagonia, the manufacturer of his trademark blue vest. He was never seen without. Hang on, I got to fix something here. There we go. And DeRay visited with the Obama White House several times for sit-downs with the president to discuss race, and he also developed a convenient friendship with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. Isn't that special? Twitter and Facebook play a significant role in driving the racial narrative. Y'all follow me? Following this? It's very poignant. DeRay also had a failed run for mayor in his hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, where despite his being the best funded candidate, he garnered less than 3% of the vote because he was a freaking, his hometown, but in political sense, he was a carpetbagger. So much for being a representative of the people. There was also Netta Elzie, a Missouri native who burst onto the scene with the killing of Michael Brown in Ferguson in 2013. Elzie eventually graced the cover of Essence magazine, a publication catering to black women, where she was presented as an example of black girl magic. Just wait for it. You're going to understand why I like this article. You probably like it already. Hello, Lord Stanhope. How you doing? Netta now has an agent and booking fees for speaking engagements. That magic is still paying dividends for her. It's amazing how all these people who get it in the movement, if you get into the movement early, you might make a little cash. Hello, Sheograph. With so much easy financial opportunity and overnight fame, being black became fashionable for the grifter crowd. Transracial activists like Rachel Dolezal and Jessica Krug capitalized on the sudden emphasis on racial injustice and white guilt. Both identify as black, but are white women who grifted their way to being president of an NAACP chapter and a history professor at George Washington University, respectively. The most infamous of this lot is Martin Luther Cream himself. Yes, Talcum X, Thurgood Marshall, Sugar Ray Leonard, also known as Sean King, an ordained minister, of course. King's racial identity was questioned so severely that he accused his white mother of adultery to explain why his birth certificate listed 2 white parents. Hi there, T-Ball. Apparently, paternity uncertainty is now an acceptable standard for blackness. King has also been repeatedly accused of misappropriating funds. You think? He raised that were earmarked for victims of racial injustice. Just an aside, racial injustice been very, very good to me. Hello, Zablé. Somehow, though, he always lands on his feet. Criticizing systemic racism has proven to be a foolproof means of deflecting well-deserved scrutiny. Not surprisingly, he was an early influence on NFL activists, famous for a contract dispute that became a symbol of our times, activist Colin Kaepernick. Activism has gone far beyond the mere cottage industry for the plethora of narcissistic celebrities, politicians, media shills, societal agitators, and otherwise talentless rabble-rousers who have come to dominate that space. Now he has a different term for them, and here it comes. He says, I often refer to it as the grievance industrial complex, and I knew he called it that, but this is the first time where it said, oh my God. Now I can refer to all the grievance grifters from the grievance industrial complex, an industry where the deaths of primarily black men and boys killed by white police officers are used to politically and economically reward people who only care for black men when our demise can advance their agenda. I wonder who this might be referring to. We're getting there because we're going through this whole thing. And again, please, if you Scoon TV at SCOON TV on Twitter. Also, he has ScoonTV.com, SCOON TV.com. I just like this guy. Hello, John Arnott. So the last line I said, who only care for black men when our demise can advance their agenda. There's no other conclusion to draw. When 262,000 black men were murdered in America between 1980 and 2013, more fatalities than every post-World War II conflict combined. Yet, there wasn't a peep about black lives. No other organization epitomizes the ideological duplicity highlighted thus far like Black Lives Matter. And he's referring to Black Lives Matter, the organization. 3 black women are credited with forming the group, as well as falsely credited with developing the hashtag after the killing of Michael Brown in Ferguson. Exploiting black men is par for the course with this organization. Real quick, thank you, Johnny Bonsacco. Oh, Johnny Bonsacco, this is going to be a side that if I might cut this out. Well, first, Johnny, let me just let you know, thank you for being the first sponsor of the show this morning. And
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you, sir. With the deuce, Johnny Bonsacco says, so, a Chewbacca outfit makes you a furry, AP dog? Hi, chat people. Now, if you don't want to go, thank you. And again, thank you, Johnny Bonsacco. If you really want to know what that's about, you might have to listen to all 4 hours of the stream from Saturday. And I don't think anybody wants to do that. No, anyway, we were joking about furries because my wife had never heard of furries, and neither had a couple people around us at the bar. Because I don't even know how that came up in the chat. But then my wife falsely claimed that I have a Chewbacca outfit in our house, and I do not. So there. It's bullshit. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Three black women were credited with forming the group, as well as falsely credited with developing the hashtag after the killing of Michael Brown and Ferguson. Exploiting black men is par for the course with this organization. Two of the women are open lesbians, which helps explain why a group founded to protest the extrajudicial killing of heterosexual black men and boys is so closely aligned with the mainstream LGBTQ movement. And just as an example of that, and I don't know the exact figures, so don't quote me on the exact figures, but, you know, they took in some $90 million or something like that over the last year. And I think they'd only put out about, in theory, they only spent about 30 million of it, and about 90% or 99% of the organizations that they give money to are all related to black LGBTQ organizations, like, you know, black, and a lot of black trans organizations, whatever. Now, I'm fine if that's what they're raising money for, or that's why they're getting money. But if they're bringing in money to even if it was for education, even if it was for, you know, it's Black Lives Matter, black heterosexual men being killed, and all their money's going towards these, you know, LGBTQ organizations. Anyway, let me keep going into here. This political sleight of hand is the only logical explanation for the exorbitant sums donated to the organization, as well as support among the white liberal elite. Black Lives Matter is in fact a white LGBTQ organization in blackface. Ooh, damn. I feel the fire here. One visit up to their website will confirm this, and I will show you the link that he put on there. Oh, open link in new tab. Okay, I'll show you that link because there's an about section on here. But here's the quote from their website. We affirm the lives of black, queer, and trans folks, disabled folks, undocumented folks, folks with records, women, and all black lives along the gender spectrum. Their about section reads, I thought they were about police brutality. Now, he continues, what does any of that have to do with Michael Brown or Trayvon Martin, whose names they raise money off of, even though they now say they don't after their parents began to complain? This is not our movement, meaning us black men. And, you know, you don't have to be a black man to understand what he's saying here. This is not our movement. This has never been an organic movement for black people in this country with such widespread support. Not even this vaunted civil rights movement, which arguably did more for feminism than for black people who swung from trees or faced dogs and water hoses to get the Civil Rights Act of 1964 ratified. On July 3rd, 2020, none other than the New York Times ran a story titled, quote, Black Lives Matter may be the biggest movement in U.S. history. Now, there's a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you if you believe something of this magnitude is controlled by hashtag activists. Hello, BoschTube. Black Lives Matter has raised hundreds of millions of dollars from donors like the Ford Foundation and the Borealis Philanthropy and Michael Jordan and George Soros through his Open Society foundations. The three women credited with transforming Black Lives Matter from a hashtag to a movement are Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, and Opal Tometi. Recently, Cullors made headlines for reportedly spending roughly $3 million on several homes, one home for $1.4 million in the pristine white enclave of Topanga Canyons, California. Not bad for a self-described Marxist and radical black combatant against white supremacy. Now, while $3 million may sound like a lot of money, it's a mere pittance compared to the hundreds of millions raised, with a reported $90 million donated in 2020 alone. Now, where's that money going? Some speculate money is finding its way into progressive Democrat candidates. Having been involved with 2 political campaigns in Michigan, I can tell you raising money as a black candidate requires towing the party line. Campaigns cost, and the required money does not come from the voters. That may explain why the Congressional Black Caucus unanimously supports the Equality Act, a bill designed to expand the protection and privileges of the Civil Rights Act meant for black people to the LGBTQ community. The calculated placement of black LGBTQ people at the forefront of movements like Black Lives Matter has served to make black and gay issues interchangeable within the black community. You feeling this? Because I am. There's something a little off about an organization formed to protest the killing of black men that appeals to online misandrists who routinely berate black cisgender men. Oh, that's some fire right there. These people have a love affair with words and new categories for everyone. Everything in this, every sentence in this article, I'm just feeling. Cisgender just means identifying as the gender assigned at birth, or simply put, heterosexual in street parlance, the ops. One such woman, Brittany Farrell, can be found by searching in Twitter, quote, "Black men are the utmost trash," end quote. Never mind the erroneous, upmost. I didn't catch that the first time I read this. Oh yeah, I did. So wait, if you look up on Twitter, just the quote, "Black men are the utmost trash," UPMOST. Never mind the erroneous usage of upmost rather than utmost. This woman is black and verified by Twitter. Furthermore, she was featured in, quote, "In Whose Streets?" a 2017 film about the aftermath of the Ferguson riots. Although the film was about the death of Michael Brown and subsequent events, the filmmaker found the need to tell an unrelated lesbian couple's story too, hence Farrell's appearance. She became famous off the death of a black male. And I'm just saying, it's a theme that just reeks throughout this. Not this article, but in life right now. Needless to say, the film was critically acclaimed at the bastion of white liberalism, Sundance Film Festival. My film, this is Curtis Schoon's film, Black, White, and Blue, was objective and focused on organic black issues instead of women and LGBTQ. It never made it into any film festivals. I learned the importance of documentaries in shaping narratives. Simply, I had the wrong narrative. The comparisons between the current crop of black activists and the civil rights activists of the 60s once seemed inaccurate, but I've since accepted this similarity. Listen carefully. Instead of DeRay McKesson, Dr. King had Bayard Rustin, his openly gay organizer of the March on Washington. Rustin has since been revealed to be a CIA asset, even though he was also under surveillance by the FBI. Also like today's movement, the civil rights movement of the 60s was rife with communist sympathizers and Marxists. Stanley Levinson was a top King advisor who also served on the defense team of Ethel and Julius Rosenberg, the couple who supplied American nuclear secrets to the Soviets. Levinson also co-wrote the draft of King's "I Have a Dream" speech. Even Thurgood Marshall, the first black Supreme Court justice, collaborated with the FBI to identify communists in the NAACP and the civil rights movement prior to getting appointed to the court. Ironically, the first chairman of the NAACP was Joel Spingarn, a major in the military intelligence division, a forerunner to the CIA. To this day, the highest honor bestowed in the NAACP, did a Biden there. The highest honor bestowed by the NAACP is the Spingarn Medal. Spingarn, who was a major in the military intelligence division. Fantastic. A proper review of history will show Americans' black community has repeatedly been infiltrated by what many presume are foreign forces. But are these forces truly foreign? One of the basic tenets of COINTELPRO was not to only prevent the rise of a black messiah, but to create one instead. There are several people today who fit that description of being propped up to specifically mislead black people. The emphasis on black people needing a black leader, it makes this strategy viable. I surmise that rationale not only applies to individuals but to movements as well. It should be clear that ideological subversion cannot receive such open support unless sanctioned at the very pinnacle of power. Now, this is where, and gets to the end here, when mainstream media, social media, politicians, and corporations all coalesce to promote and finance subversion, then the subversives are simply agent provocateurs and controlled opposition. No government tolerates treason, sedition, or subversion, much less allows the subversives to become fabulously wealthy unless it serves a greater agenda. Isn't that exactly what we see happening before our eyes? The bigger question is, who is behind this and why? Who gets power from this movement, basically, is the big question. And that is the question I have for you. So, isn't it interesting? Because we had this outsider in the White House that really, really upset the power structure, didn't he? Don't you think? And yet, and everything that this particular movement has done seems to be in concert with someone else getting power. And it's very, very fascinating. Anyway, so if you like that kind of article or just that kind of thinking, and Scoon's a great thinker. Okay, now again, one thing that I'm going to tell you now, Scoon is very interested in how black Americans survive and flourish, and I guess I describe him I think the Hoteps really like Scoon, because it's more of a, hey, what Scoon's about, what are we doing if we're worried about us as a group, which we don't necessarily need to, but how are we building ourselves individually? How are we building what are we doing to make ourselves better? And this ain't it. This Black Lives Matter movement, is it helping or hurting us? And I would say that personally, I think I'm tired of trying to scare people into giving other people power and money, and especially the grievance grifters, because I can't stand the grievance grifters. I've never have, the high priest of the House of Grift doing a eulogy at Dante Wright's funeral just makes me cringe. If you don't know who anyone know who I'm talking about when I say the high priest of the House of Grift, the Reverend? Finish that sentence. Real quick. Thank you, Gunfox61 and Gunfox61.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you for sponsoring the show with a special unit for the AR. Burn, Loot, and Murder is the new brown shirts and is a cult just like being a Democrat and all this woke shit. Notice that the leaders push, you must think this way and do as we say, or we will attack you and think as we say. We have the DOJ paid off. Yeah, the DOJ certainly is, the fact that they're going after the police department in Minneapolis and Louisville, Kentucky, and going in, and then they also, now as you may have heard, this was we learned this over the weekend or late last week, that it had Derek Chauvin not been found guilty, there were already people from the Justice Department ready to arrest him so they could try him on civil rights charges. And they've already announced that they are going to do that anyway. And even that's before he even gets a sentencing. And his sentencing, the Attorney General of Minnesota is already out there wanting to get a maximum sentence, bringing on just a crazy list of, enhancements, which, nobody likes enhancements unless, of course, it's against the white police officer. But there's so many problems with that case. And I still think that, and again, I'm the guy who says, as I watch that, I'm like, okay, guilty on the third charge, but the first two charges was almost ludicrous. I still can't figure out when exactly he intended to assault. Now, there's also been this argument whether the intent to assault requires an intent to harm, which one of the charges does not. One for felony assault it does, but in any case, I'm still trying to figure out when whether he's doing his job well or not. Doing his job the way he was trained, even if he's doing it poorly, is that an intent to assault somebody? Okay, assault itself is an intentional act. Okay. And I don't know when that happened in this case. That's why I still have. I think there's plenty of reasonable doubt in the first two, but then there was one of the jurors who went out there last week. Finally, one of the jurors spoke out and was saying, he was he admitted he's kind of an activist on this kind of stuff, and that there was only one person on the jury who was holding out, and everyone else was like just beat him down immediately on the charges. They didn't even the second degree murder charge, the felony second degree murder, which was the most complex of the three charges as far as trying to decide if that had happened. They said it didn't. That was hardly took him any time at all. They were all just like, well, we know that he did something wrong and we went too far, so we're going to just find him guilty on all three charges. Huh. It's going to be interesting when they get to the appeal phase, when, two of the jurors talk, one who was dismissed and one who wasn't. But the one who wasn't, like, how they came to their conclusion. Are you kidding me? The biggest witness that this guy who followed the most was George Floyd's brother, who was not a fact witness at all. He was just there for emotion. So I don't know. Not that I think that Chauvin was insane. I still see the third charge is hard to. I don't know if there's any reasonable doubt in the third charge that he. Although again, the crowd and all that stuff. Anyway, thank you, Gunfox61, again for supporting the show. I greatly appreciate it. All right. Now what's in the house? If a jury member was wearing a BLM t-shirt recently, that's another question for the appeal. Oh, I didn't even see that. Woo, I did not. By the way, woo. Now, if I say woo, I'm talking to Now What, because we're old friends. Also, good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. It's general intent crime, not a specific intent crime. Nate the lawyer is coming out with a video this week that'll help clarify this. Yeah, no, I saw his conversation with Viva Fry and Robert Barnes on Twitter, and but even I can't even prove general intent. I don't think they proved general intent. If you're in the act of doing something that you've been trained to do as a police officer, it's not even a general intent assault, And in Minnesota, a general intent assault is a misdemeanor. I read through the statute. There's 5 levels. So that's the other problem. We're talking, it has to be felony assault. So I'm looking forward to Nate the lawyer's okay. Welcome to the chat, PDawg Furry. You asshole. I'm sorry if you're, yeah, that's funny. That's some funny shit. Okay. Well, PDawg Furry, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. You look familiar though. I'm just saying. Good Lord. Anyway, now I completely forgot where I was. So let's move on. Well, actually, we're going to stick with this theme because, now, by the way, in the tabs today, after the show, did I even change that? I don't even know if I changed it today. I did not. Okay, so just so you know, any article or news item that we go through today, if I read an article or refer to an article, those will be in the tabs or in the link down in the description right down there. After the show, I'll usually update that during the outro. By the end of the outro, it's updated. So if any of these stories you want to find later and use them for your own purposes, feel free to use that link after this goes. PDawg furry. Oh, you motherfucker. All right. So anyway, Scoon's article will be in the tab in the links down below, including the page, the Black Lives Matter page, where they explain themselves. But I want to talk about something that he mentioned there, because he was talking about how how many murders do they not even talk about? There was all, or even the girl wearing pink in the that Ohio case with the knife, the friendly knife fight. Anyway, again, thank you, Maddie, for the donation via Streamlabs. I appreciate that. With the quince. Because it's not a quince. Quince is a fruit, but it sounds like something that has to do with 5 in Spanish. Who says, wherever there is injustice of the racial type, look up, look down, look around. He's a stoker of racial tensions with the best bait around. He's Reverend Race Bait Shark Tongue. Yeah, good old Reverend Al Sharpton, as good old Rush would say. Anyway, all right, I'll have to tell Lady Boomer about PDawg Furry. She'll get a kick out of that. Also, good morning to Why Are You So Angry? How you doing? And anyone else who's showed up, there's a whole bunch of people here now that weren't here before, and I just haven't said hello to everybody. But if you like what we do during the show, hit the like button. In fact, let me go to commercial, and I'll be right back, and I'll tell you all about whatever I just said. Hello, also.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it. You're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at PDawgKnight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show.
All right, everybody, I am back. And also, shout out to Curtis Scoot. I don't know if he saw what we're doing here, but I put it on. I just sent him a link. He just threw me a thank you and said, let's spread the word. Love what he was doing. I don't know. Are you here, Scoot? If you're here, man, say something in the chat. All right, real quick before I move on. Thank you, Maddie. Excuse me, Maddie. I just said thank you to Maddie. Gunfox61 with another quince. I'll just call it quince, even though it's not a quince. Quince is a fruit. It's not a 5. But thank you, Gunfox61. Also continue to sponsor the show. Marty, Darren was a witch trial. Oh, that's in Chauvin. Darren was a witch trial, much like all the protesters on January 6th. I fear we are watching the let's use the justice system to pursue anyone that disagrees with them. I gave you a bell because I don't necessarily disagree. In fact, I think that's rather poignant. That trial was, I don't think it had anything to do with the facts. So is PDawg Furry a fake account? Well, it's there. It's a real account. It's just not the real me, because I can't concentrate on what I'm doing here and type to you all at the same time. Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, look. He is Derek Chauvin has taken on the sins of all of those who came before him, whether or not they were justifiably accused or not. And this is the scalp the activist wants, that really in the long run doesn't do a thing for anybody. I am one who believes in his guilt on the third charge based on what I heard in that trial. I'm not convinced that the crowd there could not have been controlled, because it was a very small crowd, could not have been controlled. They were staying away, could not have been controlled. They weren't, most of them were across the street, the bigger crowd. The crowd in front of them, near them, was not. And one gentleman chirping at him. And had they taken some, been aware of the situation and tried to attempt to help George Floyd, he would be alive. And that is their job. Their job is to bring in people alive so they can go to face the justice system the correct way. And whether or not you think the justice system is fair is irrelevant. That's where he should have been. And if they would have taken those steps that I believe they should have taken, that I don't think were taken in the way the trial said, he still may have died. But they would have taken those steps that would have been required of them. The 2 murder charges, I don't know how anybody could actually go through the law and listen to that testimony throughout that trial and not have reasonable doubt on those other charges based on what they were, particularly the underlying felony assault, which if you cannot pinpoint exactly when that felony assault began, then there is no felony assault. And I believe there's plenty of reasonable doubt on that. So, all right. One of the things in that article that Schoon was talking about is something that I like to talk about too. And there's an article in Quillette called "When Will the Activists and the Media Get Honest About Police Shootings?" And he goes through several of these cases, but there's one section that I'm going to sort of highlight this morning that kind of relates to what Curtis Schoon said in his article. And this is from that article, and the full article here, I encourage you to read it, but this is the section that I took out of it that I wanted to relate to the last one. For the last 5 years, the police have shot dead around 1,000 people a year, the vast majority of whom were armed or otherwise dangerous. Now, I don't know I can't remember if they mentioned this. About 30% of them are black. That's just total. Okay. And again, vast majority of them were either armed or fighting or whatever, a danger to the police officers or to them other people. Only 40 fatally wounded suspects were unarmed in 2019. 1,000 sounds like a lot, but that's out of around 61.3 million people who had at least one police encounter in 2018, according to the Bureau of Justice. Many individuals have multiple interactions with law enforcement, which may be the basis of the often referred 375 million police civilian encounters per year. Using 61.5 million people encountering the police, even if 99.9% go perfectly, that's still 6,150 that will go badly for some reason, including incidents in which suspects violently resist arrest or anxious officers make mistakes in a country with more guns than people. Out of the 1,004 people shot dead by police in 2019, 9 were unarmed blacks and 19 were unarmed whites, according to the Washington Post database. This was down from 36 and 32 respectively in 2015 and 2017. That's combined. So, the trend seems to have been in decline, not worsening, when the Floyd riots occurred. Are you surprised by these numbers in light of the relentless rhetoric about the epidemic of blacks being shot by racist white cops? I was. Now, it may be objected that blacks account for about 23% of those shot or dead by police, but they only account for about 13% of the U.S. population. So they're being killed at nearly double the rate of their demographic representation. But that's not the whole story. In 2018, the latest year for which such data have been published, African Americans make up 53% of known homicide offenders in the U.S. and committed 60% of robberies. Disproportionate involvement in violent criminality leads to a disproportionate number of encounters with police, a disproportionate number of which can be expected to turn violent. If anything, the death rate of black suspects is lower than the percentages would predict. Meanwhile, in 2018, according to the FBI, there were 7,407 black homicide victims, 91% of whom were killed by other black males. Now, I'm going to go back on this because I don't want you to say just, oh, black and black crime, this is yada yada, because everyone has crime against more likely to have a crime against their own demographic just because of proximity alone. However, and I pull this stat right out of my head because I read it all the time. The reason this is important is because for black males, and this is where I think I'm in line with Scoon, I hope so. People don't normally die young, right? And if you across demographics. And so when you think of what people who are younger than an old age, a natural death occurring would be, you would think accidents, disease, all these other things, right? Well, for black men, the leading cause of dying too young, and I'll refer that to ages 15 to 54, in every section of that demographic of black men, the leading cause of death is homicide, murder, okay? We're the only demographic that happens. For every other demographic, it's the number one cause of death of black men between ages 15 and 54. Every other demographic, it's in the top 10, but we're talking 50% of all deaths that I say die too soon, too early, in that age range is murder, homicide. Well, homicide, murder, they're not the same thing, but you get my drift here. For white men in those age groups, it's probably averages maybe 7 to 8%. 50%. That's why it's important to me. We're dying too soon because we're killing each other. And so I know I've gone away from this article, but police officers account for 0.01% of those deaths. But what does Black Lives Matter focus on? That little tiny, tiny, tiny percentage relative to what's happening to black men, okay? And so why is it that Black Lives Matter, which is giving all its money to, black trans this and black LGBTQ this, 95% of the money's going to that, when they're making their money off the death of black men? The tiniest section of that death of black men. It's every once in a while I go through an article. I see an article where it says, the police killing of black men is one of the top causes of death among black men. And then I'll go to the article, and when they say the top causes of death, they mean like the top 15. When the percentage of death by homicide is 50%, and the death by police officers is 0.1%. Well, yeah, it's the top leading causes of death because there are only about 20 categories of people who die of death amongst people who die too soon. There's a whole list of accidents and heart disease and, all kinds of cancers. It leads, lightning strikes. I don't know. Lightning strikes among the leading causes of death among people if you go down about 50 down the list, right? Anyway, So anyway, I'm going to say this again. Meanwhile, in 2018, according to the FBI, there are 7,407 black homicide victims, 91% who were killed by other black males. So there is an epidemic of black Americans being shot, but not by the police. If a comparable number of blacks were victims of homicide in 2019, then 9 unarmed black victims of police shootings represent 0.1% of all African Americans killed that year. Amazingly, given the ostensible concern for black lives, it has become a taboo to mention those data. And this alone is making Frank's discussion of this topic more difficult. Greater accountability is rightly being demanded of the police. So why are the general population, including black Americans, shielded from the same scrutiny? Why is every black person killed by police in America a presumptive saint, even though 96% were armed, while every cop is a presumptive racist? Because in the increasingly dishonest coverage of race in America, this narrative sells, or it certainly makes money for the grievance grifter. The rest of the article is really good too, but that was the portion that I wanted to highlight related to Curtis Schoon's piece. I think it fits very well. All right, let's move on to some more. I'll just say uplifting, because remember I said I was going to have a couple TikToks on the show today. Well, they're a couple by this woman who the world seems to have just discovered. Talk about a woman who is filled with logic. Well, wait, they just banned me. Hi, Katie did skate. I see you dropped in. Anyone else drop in? Check your logic. What's up? How you doing? Lord Stanhope. I'm trying to see who else has been here. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Moving on. Let's look at a couple TikToks, because I think this is pretty good. Now, first, I look at this. Oh, I gotta move this up before I put it on the screen, because I want to make sure you see Alyssa Milano in all her glory. This pause game is pretty interesting too. Before I go on to that, though, thank you, GunFox61, a prolific sponsor of the show, and also GunFox is the administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server, and I greatly appreciate all the work you do there and the great articles you put up. And you continue to be the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. Wait, that's not what I want to do. What the hell did I just do there? Thank you for the deuce via Streamlabs. Remember, you can use Streamlabs, SuperChats, Venmo, and Cashapp if you want to donate to the show and make the cause, or make it continue, it's a great incentive. Also, if you want to support the show, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Share is the big one. Share this with people you think might enjoy this show. Gunfox says, with the deuce, Marty, because dead blacks make them money and they don't care about black men. They only care about using black men who are criminals who died doing something stupid or attacking people and getting shot. Well, yeah, it's because, look, when you have... thank you, Gunfox. Now, it's not always that's not always the case, but yes, I understand what you're saying there. Look, I'm not blaming these people's deaths on them. George Floyd, Dante Wright, the girl in Hawaii, Mackay, I don't know what her last name is. Did they contribute to the death by even causing a police encounter? Yes. Now, do they deserve to die? No. Although the girl in Ohio, I'm sorry, she's about to stab someone in the neck. I don't know what anyone expects that cop to do. There's still people arguing that something else could have been done. I don't know. This was 10 seconds in and mid-stab, and that knife was going straight at a woman's neck. And neck wounds in a very volatile situation, you're going to have a tough time stopping that. And look, just in the same month in Ohio, another 13-year-old girl stabbed another 13-year-old to death. I don't know if you take chances on that kind of stuff. And, you know, God rest that girl's soul who's had a tough life and in foster care system, whatever's going on in her life. But I'm sorry, that was completely justified. And the other two, look, Dante Wright, there would have been no even opportunity for one of those officers to shoot him if he had not fought his way back into the car and attempted to escape. And there would have been no opportunity for a mistaking a handgun for a taser. I'm sorry, with George Floyd. And George Floyd's death, we don't know what the drugs would have done to him, but there would have been no opportunity without the actions of George Floyd. And again, I'm not saying he deserved deserved to die. Nobody, I mean, you know, he deserved to go into the criminal justice system and take his lumps for doing stupid shit. But was there a contribution to his having a police encounter in the first place? There was. And, people don't want to even acknowledge that small part of it. And it's unfortunate. But let's get on to something at least a little more enjoyable to my piece. Wait, what the hell? Mute TikToks first in case they have music. I don't care if they have music. This one doesn't, and I already know, and I'm not worried about the music thing. What are you talking about? Sapphire Dragon, how you doing? And I said hi to Bosch. Oh, Jaeger Pony's here too. I didn't say hi to you yet. I know I saw you in the chat. Good morning, to my favorite Canadian. All right, so now, first of all, this pause game that I don't know what to think of this pause game on Alyssa Milano, but I do want to point out something about Alyssa Milano. Oh my goodness gracious. That is a very, very generous donation. And he's going, it looks like Ryan Walters is starting a donation war, which, I can't argue with. I'm not going to argue with it. But thank you so much for the most patriotic donation and sponsorship of the show ever as could be.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor
Ryan,
of the
you are
day.
the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the day, who says, make it rain, people. Now, I'm not going to do any lap dances for this, but I do greatly appreciate you guys sponsor the show when you're able to. And thank you so much, Ryan, for the very generous donation. I do appreciate that. So, Alyssa Milano, before I even want to talk about her pause game and what's going on here, because this is... I better not say it. But I got to ask, let's talk about her microphone setup here, because I found this very fascinating. If you know anything about recording and microphones and all this stuff, and I'm looking at this microphone she's using, and that is called a microphone, shotgun microphone. And so she's not using that. Probably, you would think these people in Hollywood would at least do a little research, the best types of mics for different types of things. And she's just, good Lord, what is going on with these people? Like, remember when all the late night supposed comedy hosts, were having to do all their stuff at home, and they would be using like the webcam mic. And I'm just a dumbass YouTuber with just over 1,000 subscribers, and I have a better setup than most of these stupid celebrities. No, that's not even a condenser mic. That's a shotgun mic. And I think she does pretty much her stuff using her iPhone and a shotgun mic, but she's using a shotgun mic as though it's it's made to go up against her face, and it's not. It's made to stick on top of your camera and take your audio from, about camera length away. Whatever. They're all weird. And then this pause game is quite interesting. Anyway, but this is not an Alyssa Milano TikTok. Listen to this young based woman named This Is Savvy, and I got a couple videos from her. So here's one of her TikTok videos. If you're on TikTok, follow This Is Savvy, ThisIssavvy. But here we go, because this is another one of those where I'm just like, hip hip fucking hooray when I listen to this one. Hello Mass Creation. All right, listen to this.
For those of us who are not black men, imagine watching the news.
Now, the last thing I want to hear Alyssa Milano talk about is her experience what she thinks black men should think, because she's treating black men as a monolith. But anyway, but this is not it. Listen. Does she rub her face on the mic, then edge it? Damn it, Lord Stanhope. I can't even believe I just read that out loud. I need some coffee. Listen to this TikTok.
And seeing how people
Imagine being a black man and being told by some white lady with a microphone that you and the criminal on TV are one and the same because you look alike. Imagine being told by society.
No! Stop! Bam! This whole... Wait, I'm going to let you hear this again because you may not have heard it because I talked over it, and you got to listen to the sentence she just said. Because when I first heard this, I almost fell over laughing because... Right? I'm sick because the first time I saw that Jacob Blake one, and he's got the knife, he's fighting with the cops on the ground, and he walks around his car, and he apparently was going for something in his car, and they shot him. Then you find out he had the knife and shit. And I'm like, and then someone started talking about, just black men this and black men this, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a black man. I got nothing even similar in my life to that dude. Sorry. I don't even compare me to that motherfucker. Now, other people think he's just innocently going around in the car to take his kids away, even though we know the details. But anyway, listen to this again. Listen to this. I'm going to shut my mouth and let you listen.
people
Imagine being a black man and being told by some white lady with a microphone that you and the criminal on TV are one and the same because you look alike.
Oh, bam! But she's not done. She is not done. Oh, Lord. She is not done.
Imagine being told by society that white people can be all that they can be, but you as a black man, the content of your character is completely irrelevant.
Oh, bam! I need one of those Andrew Dice Clay's ohs. I might have to dig one of those up because that was, oh, shit. Wait a minute, but she's not done. She is not done.
You are the color of your skin, and that is all you will ever be.
And you know what? That's another one that pisses me off because, instead of talking about how you can't make it in America because you're black and someone's holding your ass down, bullshit. I got an argument with someone about some education shit the other day, over the weekend on Twitter, where she was talking, and I was like, because that article, remember the article I read about the med school? I'll come back to that. But how there's fewer black men in med schools, and it really was a slightly lower percentage of black men, but the percentage of black women doubled in med schools, and actually black med school students up 45% as a percentage of total med school students. And the ladies, well, where'd you get your figures from? And I'm like, it was in the damn article. I just did the math, and anyway, never mind. Listen to the rest of this though. Every time I'm gonna stop. Every time, yeah, nuke blast effect. I do have a sound effect like of a nuclear bomb going off too. And someone sent me the dice.wave. Okay, listen to this.
Imagine being told you can't figure out how to vote because of the color of your skin.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm sorry if any white liberals are here, but it's the white liberal who you got to worry about. It's almost, well, let me let her finish, because every time I hear this, I do this. I stop and bam! She's dropping bombs everywhere.
Socioeconomics affects everyone, but apparently you're not as smart as the poorest white person. Lady, I don't want to hate you. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up with you. So I know you're very talented. I understand your heart is in the right place, but you are everything you preach against. You're not helping. You're making things worse. You're
beating the crap out of her.
causing more division. You're causing more fear. Statistically speaking, I am more likely to be shot and killed by my black elderly neighbor across the street than the cop who patrols my neighborhood. Statistically speaking, homicide by cop is very rare, but people like you find power in fear, so you keep it front page news. You don't have to be a white supremacist.
Oh! That was a line that would be the nuclear bomb sound. Because if you think about it, they love to talk about white supremacy, but damn, they put us especially black men, in this category. Like, we're just helpless without you, little white liberal lady Ma from, oh, by the way, Ma is a term that you may not know. That stands for middle-aged white woman. That Ma, Melissa Milano, must think we are helpless as black men, and it's embarrassing, and all you're not helping. This woman is so right. This is Savvy on TikTok. If you're into TikTok, subscribe to This is Savvy, ThisSavvy. I'm going to do one more because she got another one here that, oh.
Be better.
Yeah, be better. Be better, Alyssa Milano. Be better. I got another one because now, because man, look, well, I'm not even going to preface this one. We're just going to watch this one, and I might have to stop so I can go, oh! Hello, Justin Anderson. How you doing? Oh, that was a fatality. That was a fatality. And then she takes on this young woman of ambiguous, what's the word? I don't give a shit about people's race, but if you only talk about race and then I see that you have ambiguous features that you're not real sure about, then I'm just going to say it. So anyway, here we go. This young gal who probably just brought this on herself. Here she goes.
People are always like, get over slavery. Okay, get over 9/11.
Now, before she even starts, I don't necessarily hear a whole lot of people talk about get over slavery as much as I didn't experience slavery. I know that it happened early on in my family, the family that I grew up in, at least, my adopted family. My great-grandfather was born a slave. Now, there is no form of osmosis that can make me feel any of the feelings or, anything that he had about that. And in fact, well, he was a slave. His parents were slaves. And I can't experience anything they did because I didn't experience in my life. I can hear a story or here and there, whatever. But he was only 7 years old when slavery ended, and he ended up owning some land in Iowa and had a nice farm and whatnot. Through just different circumstances of his life, he ended up owning a fairly decent sized farm in Iowa, and that's how he fed his family. And then my grandmother, and then my father, and so on, down to me being adopted into this family. But I can't experience that. My parents went through an experience with redlining, which everyone loves to talk about redlining. But honestly, I was in the industry for a long time, in the 90s and into the 2000s, and that practice almost went the opposite way. They were trying to throw money at some of these low-income census tracts and trying to get people to buy houses. They didn't give a fuck where you bought the house, no matter what your race was. And the real estate agents weren't there, so steering. They didn't steer me and my wife anywhere. We moved right into the suburb around a bunch of white people. They didn't care. But my parents did experience redlining. I have no experience with that type of feeling. Okay, so I can't. I don't have to get over slavery. I've never experienced slavery, so I can't get over it. I don't have to get over. So people talk about it, and yeah, it happened, but it's almost like, yes, there's a history of things that you know about, but you didn't experience. My parents experienced, my grandparents experienced a lot of shit, my great-grandparents, and so on and so forth, but I didn't. So I can't have a trauma from something that I didn't experience. There's no such thing as, they try to say, oh, you could pass down psychological trauma. No, you can't. Anyway, now, that's where I come from when I watch this. We're going to start it over.
People are always like, get over slavery. Okay. Get over 9/11.
Now, Nobody experienced. I don't know anybody don't know a single person alive today who has experienced slavery in this country. But I'm pretty sure most Americans over that age who can remember 9/11 can remember it vividly, and I can. And most people who are probably older than anyone who was probably 8 or 9 years old and older on September 11th, 2000. It was 2001. It was 2001. We'll probably remember 9/11. So that experience you have, I had experienced that, so I know how I felt when I saw that happening in our country. So let's. But I'm gonna let Savvy take care of this because she does a marvelous job.
Let's just get some factoids out the way. Slavery went on for about 246 years, not 400. If you want to get technical.
Because you always hear, oh, we've been slaves for 400 years. No, we haven't, dumbass.
Slavery only lasted in the United States for about 89 years.
Technically, yes. And I've talked about this before because we weren't the United States of America until the Constitution was written. And in by one generation within the time that we actually became our own country, slavery was abolished. 1.5 generations, if you want to think about what life expectancy was back then. It was abolished within a generation, which had never happened in the entire world. I'm going to just run it back a little bit.
Slavery only lasted in the United States for about 89 years. Slavery ended 156 years ago. This coming September, it'll be 20 years since 9/11. You seem young, so I'm guessing you were either too young to remember 9/11 or you weren't born yet. I was 14 when I watched people jump to their deaths and the towers collapse. 9/11 didn't just happen to the people who died, it happened to all of us. And using 9/11 in a joke is just not. And it's not so much get over slavery, it's stop using an event you never experienced as a crutch.
Yeah! Wait, whoa. Stop using a event that you never experienced as a crutch or an excuse. Ooh, ah.
Generational trauma, then go see a therapist before you damage the next generation. It's not oppression when you shackle your own feet, and no one's holding you back when the key is in your hands. I can't get to the door if I'm holding onto the wall, and I can't take the wall with me. When people say get over slavery, this is what they mean.
Bah! Okay, that's self-explanatory. All right, I've used up my whole time on black people stuff, but you know what? That's okay. I'm a black person. I can do that shit once in a while. But yeah. So anyway, her name is on TikTok. This is Savage. She didn't have a Twitter account, although there is a Twitter account, a protected Twitter account that's brand new called This Is Savvy, with some anime picture on it or something. I don't know if that's her or not. I guess we'll find out eventually. But her TikTok is full of videos like this. I watched 3 or 4 of them this weekend, and I just, I didn't have time to spend on it. But good for her. The message. Oh, I need to have this. Hang on a second. I blew it. I got to leave that up there so you can find this one too. I have these two bookmarked so that when you go on into the links down below, the link for all the links down below, one link will get you all these news articles. It'll be in that link. So anyway, John Smith, what's up? I'm white. Can I use up time on white people stuff? Well, yeah, I don't, if you do whatever you want, man. If you have a channel, do whatever you want. Or talk about it in the chat. I don't care. Anyway, she's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes. Anyway, but I would put money on her being into anime. It's possible. I don't know. Anyway, so look, I'm not getting to any of these other articles today, so I'm just going to tell you what they are. And they're good articles. If you get a chance, read a few. This is interesting in the New York Times today. I should probably do the archive version, even though I'm going to give you an archive version just in case you've already. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. We're going to copy, and then we're going to go archive, and just in case, probably already archived, I'm guessing. Yes, it is. All right, I'll give you an archive version of that just in case, because you have to be subscribed for that to do too many articles. But the headline of this article pissed me off just from being. I haven't read it the whole thing, so I don't think it's as bad as it sounds. But the headline: reaching herd immunity is unlikely in the U.S. Experts now believe. Well, which experts? Which experts? And you'll get to figure that out. But they do add, though, this is good. I like this line in the subheading. The virus is here to stay, but vaccinating the most vulnerable may be enough to restore normalcy. Now, that is encouraging. But if they only read the headline, boy, you know the covichondriacs are going to be out there wearing masks until global warming floods New York City and Florida. Another article that I was in here with, of course, is CNN, how the U.S. went. Now, this one. Oh, this is CNN. How the U.S. went from having one of the worst COVID responses to being a global leader in vaccinations under Biden. Bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, also in the docs that today, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee chair of the Democrats spent a whole lot of money on travel as he urged constituents to stay home and stop spreading this virus. Yes, obey what we say, and we're going to do what the hell we want. A nice Wall Street Journal article on how fake COVID-19 certificates are hitting the airlines, which now have to police them. People are already using their fake stupid 19 passports. Oh, this one I'll have to do an archive version too. Hang on a second. Let's see if there's already one. I'm going to guess there is, because this is one everyone probably wants to read. Let's see. Yes, it was. This is from 6 days ago, by the way. So there's that one. In the New York Post today, or yesterday, powerful teachers union influenced the CDC on school reopenings. Yeah, because there's no political influence on the CDC. This is a great article also. Why did I bookmark this? This is a housing market one that's in the Wall Street Journal. I'll get rid of you don't need the tweet. Talking about why the housing market is crazier than it's been since 2006, because there's such limited inventory is the biggest problem. But if you want to see that article, I'll put an archive version of that one up too. But yeah, if you're trying to buy a house now, it was funny because we were thinking of consolidate. We have got a second to get some new siding, and we were literally not that long ago. We were looking at what it would be to get a second, and the value of our house, in our neighborhood had gone up some, and then my wife was checking like Zillow or something like that, and it jumped like 40 grand over the last couple months, and we're just like, what the hell is going on? Well, our particular suburb is super desirable right now, and just people are buying houses like crazy here, and they're building and all this stuff, and I'm like, what's happening? So who knows? We might be able to sell this bad boy and go move to somewhere else. Anyway, funny article in the Wire and video on one of LeBron James flops, and we're not talking about one of his tweets, but actually him flopping in a game. Actually, I'll play this real quick. Here it is, where for God's sake. Okay.
Well, I caught the elbow there of Stanley Johnson as he caught the ball and gathered himself.
Now
before he went
notice.
for that shot.
Notice. Look at that again. Look at this. Look at him. Look at this. Look at him.
Might have caught the elbow there of Stanley Johnson as he caught
Did he
the
get
ball
it?
and
Did he actually
gathered
catch an
himself before he
elbow?
went up for that
Oh,
shot.
it was the phantom elbow he caught on the wrong side of his head. Anyway, that's in there. And then finally, or there's a few more. I'm gonna get rid of Ace here. I don't need him. And I don't need to add from the New York Post. Oh, also the New York Post. Warren Buffett's whining about Robinhood, the app where people use to buy stocks. Hello, Somnambule Nation. He's complaining that it's turning the stock market into a casino. Well, I don't know, man. He's a legendary investor, but has it always sort of been a casino? I don't know. He says there's nothing illegal, nothing immoral, but it's just interesting to watch the guy whose whole life is and wealth is based on investing complain about other investors. So I just found it fascinating. Now, what was this? Oh, okay. We're gonna finish with that one. I'll come back. I do have Savvy's TikTok up. If on the web page, you can watch some of her other videos. And then let's see. That was just me. You don't need to. Do y'all care about my YouTube bitching and whining? You can follow me. Look, if you want to read about me bitching about YouTube, follow me up there at PDawgKnight. And we're gonna finish with this last video, also a TikTok video that I found some great. Or is it a TikTok? No, it's just a short video. And this is how we're gonna finish the show. I'm gonna full screen this one though, because this is great. This woman is also quite based. If you want to think about it, let me get her on the screen correctly here. There we go. And here we go. Some of you might find this predictable, but that's okay.
Hey.
Hey.
Guess who just came by here?
Who?
Some guy. Hey, I didn't know him. He said, if you show me your boobs, I'll give you a bottle of wine.
What? Who? Who did that?
I don't know. He was just coming by.
Oh, my God.
And he said that.
So what happened? Did you call the police?
No,
What'd you do?
he went that way.
What?
You knew that was coming. You gotta know that was coming. Anyway, all right, gang, that's it for today for the Morning Night Live. As you know, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT. For those of you who are in the other parts of the world, like my friend Richo and Thomas. So, hey, gang. I'm so happy you were here with me today. I, of course, will be back tomorrow. Please, if you haven't done so already, before you touch any other things, that was sounded weird, please hit the like button, hit the share button. The share button is the most important button on that thing down here, wherever. Hit the share button, share this out with somebody you might enjoy my show. And if you really like what I do, throw a couple bucks in the tip jar once in a while. I don't have to today, just when you're able, or if you're not able, I'm cool with that too. Just share the stream and we'll be, you and BA will be two peas in a pod. So thank you though for being here today, but it is definitely time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.